2 years ago, I released Pibbles Dressup on itch.io. It was a great feeling to put out my first game. From a very young age, I started playing with game dev. I used to make these little mods for a game called Blockland. It was a creative sandbox, like if Gary's mod was mixed with Roblox. I started doing simple face texture replacements, and over the years it evolved into me making fully realized game modes. In a way, I was already making games. Eventually, I moved on to modding other games. Starbound, Binding of Isaac, and now Fallout New Vegas. I always struggled with the idea that what I was doing wasn't real game development. I was editing other games. I always devalued everything I did, making me a pushover or a yes man. It took a lot, but I think I got over this and realized that what I was doing was what my heart has always been in, game development and design. Pibbles Dressup stemmed from when I struggled through this weird self-confidence issue with not being a real game maker. I was also in the middle of rediscovering myself. I was working through bad friend groups at the time and realizing who I was, how I wanted to express myself, and that it conflicted with many people around me, especially my family. I think I was just a year into living alone after forcing myself to move out when I put out Pibbles Dressup. I knew it wouldn't be significant or groundbreaking, but I felt that I had to put out some game, and Pibbles Dressup is what that ended up being. I did it to prove that I can make my own game and to show off my personality and self-expression, which the Pride update reinforces. It represents how I was redoing my wardrobe at the time. I was still very much closeted, but today I'm openly a non-conforming guy. It took a lot to accept the simple idea that I'm a guy who just likes to be pretty. I'm still struggling with a lot today, but I have become a much better person and made strides to fix my life where my family neglected me. Among other things, I'm going to college now. I'm going to learn to be a professional game developer. So what's to come for me and my games? Unfortunately, I no longer have much time to work on personal projects. Maybe between semesters I will be able to. I consider Pibbles Dressup to be finished, but maybe I'll update it one day. I have lots of ideas for games and mods, but most of them only exist as basic tech demos or in my head as concepts. I need to work on that in the future, jotting down ideas instead of holding them in my head. I have like 8 of these basic demos that are barely developed. Something simple I had thought of that was going to be my game after Pibbles Dressup would have been Crispy Petter. It was a basic cookie clicker clone where you had to pet Crispy the cat by clicking on your mouse. It would have generated points and you would get cute cat themed upgrades. I never really started working on it though. It could be fun to develop Snow Shovel further. There are some game mechanics that I wanted to add but had no time for. I could see a substantial update being made for it one day that adds these mechanics and some more and develops it into this cute little 20 level puzzle game. Another idea I've been kicking around has been to bring back this old Lost Game Maker project I made as a kid. You played as a character I dubbed Jump Dude, and due to a limitation of the code I was using and my inexperience with a platformer demo I was using, you couldn't move left or right after landing from a jump. So I developed a little game that made this into an actual game mechanic. I could totally jump into this idea and develop it further. I wish I still had the old game though. Platformers are a childhood passion, and I used to play Super Mario World and mods for it. A game that evokes feelings like this is something I want to make. I have also been wanting to make roguelikes. I like the emergent gameplay and depth these kinds of games allow for. Right now I have thoughts on an action-adventure top-down view roguelike starring Pibbles. I also have this idea for an auto-battler featuring cats with procedural CPU encounters. I also wanted to make a mining-focused game, like an old game mode I used to play for Blockland and enjoyed. I may have rambled some, but I hope you enjoyed listening. Right now, game dev is just a hobby of mine, but I hope to make it a job one day. If you want to pitch in and help me buy a coffee, please buy Pibbles Dressup at any dollar amount you want, and it would be most appreciated. Or possibly donate to me via my links at my card. Thank you so much for listening.